today. This is a kind of a special day because our board of directors and our chairman of the board of directors and our president has approved 3 additions to the Edmonton Football Club Wall of Honor, and you're one of them. So congratulations, Joe,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, man. That's awesome. It's an honor that I totally respect. I didn't think that would ever happen, Alan, but hey, I am pleased as I can be right now just to hear it.
Well, I will say this, Joe. I think that this has been something that's long overdue. I think that there are a number of players that played on that 5-in-a-row team and played for an extended period. I think you were here for over 9 years, and deserve to be on there. So I'm going to start by saying that this is long overdue, and I know you gave us some initial feeling, but maybe you can just expand on it a little bit about what it means and what it'll mean to your family, what it'll mean to your legacy.
Well, Alan, my youngest son was born in St. Albert. So he is virtually a Canadian citizen. He had to apply for a Canadian passport before he could get his U.S. passport. So I got some Canadian roots, and my oldest son went all the way through grade 10 in the Edmonton area. So yeah, and I visit Edmonton pre-pandemic about 2 times a year because I still got business interest there through the company Primerica Financial Services. And wow, right now I've got, well, how can I say this? I got direct ties to 46 financial services offices that are open and operating basically because I got started within the company at the end of my football career. And so Edmonton is still home to me in a lot of ways. I just physically don't live there, but Alan, I grew up in Edmonton. And when I came to the Eskimos, I had been released by the Minnesota Vikings, and I kind of shared with Norm Kimball that he needed to give me a job in the city of Edmonton digging ditches because he was going to need me and my services before the football season was over with if I didn't make it during training camp the next year. But I came to Edmonton in September of '75 on a 5-day trial that lasted almost 2 months. And at that time, the Eskimos only had about 5 games left to go in the season. And the day I got into Edmonton, they were releasing Vince Faison. He was in the hotel, hadn't caught his flight out yet. And they had another guy from Nebraska that was coming in, and he was playing the next game. So after my 2 months there, I kind of figured, well, since I had been injured with my college football team in game 3 the year before, and I had not actually played in a game for over a year, Alan. So I said, you know what, I'm going to take this time, and we're now October 22nd or so. And I said, I'm going to go back home. I'll sign a contract, and I'll go back home, and I'll come back, and we'll start in training camp next year, and we'll all be at an even keel. And that's what I did. And I came back the next year, and about 2 days into training camp, Ray Yock had us doing 40-yard dash times. And the year before, I'd gotten to know Highball and the guys on the defense. And Highball was supposed to be the fastest guy in the CFL at that time. And I ran my first 40, and Ray Yock he said, come over here. And he wouldn't show me the clock. He said, do that again. And it was, I don't claim to be as fast as Larry was, but I could hold my own. I did track and field in high school, did a little bit of training with the track and field team when I was in college, and worked with a martial artist that helped me to strengthen my toes, of all things, when I was in college, just from the physical education degree. And he was there, and he helped me to understand that your toes are very important in sprinting.
So let me ask you this, Joe. What you mentioned Larry Highbaugh, but I'm going to give you the name of the other 2 players that are going up with you this year, and it's Jim Germany and Ed Jones.
All right.
What does it mean to be going up with those are two wonderful, wonderful guys, and Ed's lived here with his family all of his life and
Yes.
after football, and those are what does it mean to be going to know that when we on August the 13th, Saturday, when we play Saskatchewan, that you're going to be out there on the field and you're going to see your plaque unveiled along with Ed Jones and
Wow.
Jim Germany.
That's almost a dream come true, because Ed and I played side by side for 7.5 years. And today, Ed and I are still great friends. Matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, I talked to Jim Germany. I had to search his phone number out through Herb Dobbins. And but Germ and I, for I would say the first 10 or 11 years after our career was over, we stayed in contact with one another. After Jim got injured and went back to the U.S. to have some medical treatment, when he came back to Canada, Germ lived with me. His last year in Edmonton, he lived with me and my family. So Germ and I, we're close friends. He's a great competitor, and I thought he would have been on the wall a long time ago. As far as Ed is concerned, because Ed stayed in Edmonton and he worked through the alumni and did a lot of stuff for the Edmonton Eskimos and supporting and if nothing else, bragging about the Eskies and the time that he played. I thought he would have been there a long time ago.
But when you take a look at the accomplishments of you and Ed and Jim, I mean, you know, you're still all over our record book, and here it is all these years later. I know you look in the mirror and think I could still play, but you might have to shave a little of the gray off.
Alan, up until last year, that was good. I challenged my 14-year-old granddaughter to a basketball game, and I promoted it in my neighborhood that we were going to play on a certain day, and I invited spectators over, and she whipped my ass. So I officially hung up my cleats. My 13-year-old granddaughter beat my 14-year-old granddaughter beat me in one-on-one basketball.
Well, you're still in here for most interception returns for touchdowns, 7. That's in our record. Most kick returns in a single game, 8. And most kick return yards in a single game, 239 kick return yards. So, you know, today, that just doesn't happen. You know, we're lucky if we get 9 yards. And before you started returning them, we had Emilio Frietta. We said, just catch the ball and fall forward. We gained 3 feet.
Yes, but it was a joy to me, Al. That's what kept me in the ball game as a defensive back. I think it was the excitement of the kick returning. Right, all through my high school and formative years, I was a running back. I was actually chosen out of high school to go to Arkansas State as a running back, and because I could play in the secondary, the defensive back coach asked me to come over and play in the secondary if I would. Because during our preseason, my freshman year in college, we had 2 free safeties get injured. So I went over and played free safety. The following year, our coaches had gone down to Oklahoma and studied the wishbone, and they wanted to put in the wishbone, and I got shifted to a left halfback. Finished the year on offense as a halfback with a 5.5 yards per rush average. Then the next year, we got a deficiency in the secondary, and I go back to safety. And then my senior year, I'm playing corner, and I only played 3 games. And I got injured on a kick return and did not get back on the field that year. And the Minnesota Vikings still took a chance on me in the 8th round, and I went there, stayed through 5 weeks of training, and did make the team. And 2 weeks later, I was in Edmonton.
There you go. I'm gonna.
And that's where I found my home.
There you go. I'm going to ask you a question that might be a little bit. If you could look at this computer, your camera, and say something to the fans of Edmonton about being on the Wall of Honor, because it's really the fans that I represent here, and that all of us do. And you know, players, people think when they watch players that the players don't see the fans or hear the fans, but they do. And so I would like to get some words from you about what I just said to you about being on being inducted to the Wall of Honor.
Well, Alan, while playing the game, you try to tune the fans out so that you can concentrate and focus on football. But when I was playing in Edmonton, even in Clark Stadium, there's no way you could tune out all the fans. Did I notice the fans? Heck yeah. But I tried to, when I was playing when I was on the field, I tried to tune them out. But between plays, you always notice. I mean, 70,000 people in the stands. There's no way you could ignore it. And it was a joy to play at home on the grass field in Edmonton during my entire 10 years there. It was a joy because the fans always came to the game ready to root and get it on. And I would put our fans in Edmonton during my time up against any of the fans in the entire CFL. I would put them up against some of the teams in the NFL that the fans are not rowdy, but the fans are just into the game and they were there and they wanted the Eskies to win.
Joe, I appreciate that. Evan, do you have anything else, or we might have to loop back, Joe, and get some more from you, but I think we've got enough for the time being.
Okay.
Can you do me a favor? We need to get some travel plans made to get you and your wife up here, and
Absolutely.
so we'll have somebody get back to you. August the 13th is our Wall of Honor game, and so we'll be in touch many times between now and then we'll have to get, when we have a date for our annual dinner, when we get like 900 people in the room and really have a nice night, we'll get you back again and we'll do that as well. So
Absolutely.
August 13th, buddy, this is a real pleasure.
I'm writing this down. I'm writing this down right now, Alan.
Yeah.
I've waited for this day.
I wish this was.
I never thought this day would come. And I thought if it did, it would be one of my sons or maybe a grandchild accepting the honor on my behalf. So on behalf of the Edmonton Eskimos, and here's the reason why. Since 1985, my last year with the Eskimos, I've seen lots of names go up on the wall, but I saw very few from my era go up on the wall. Even though I know that we accomplished something that has never been done before in the CFL or any other professional athletic sport, 5 consecutive years of championship and in 6 consecutive years championship and winning 5 in a row. But it was a feat that I cherish. All the guys that I played with during that time also cherish. And we thought we had accomplished something that was great. And being voted Alberta's, I don't remember what year it was, but being voted as Alberta's premier or greatest team was the honor that I thought would be the biggest I'd ever get out of the CFL.
Well, we're going to put your name up, and it's going to stay there forever. And this is a big thrill for me to be able to give you that news. I wish, I know maybe it should have been.
You don't know the chills that just went through my body by just knowing that out. Thank you.
Yeah.
And my thanks to the fans in Edmonton, to the Eskimo staff, and to any and everybody that had anything to do with it. I don't know if the alumni had anything to do with it, but I'm pretty sure some of the boosters and backers of the Edmonton Eskimos may have had something to do with it. But I certainly appreciate it, and thank you.
Terrific. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, Alan.
I gotta call Eddie Jones next, and he'll try and tell me that he shot 77 today, and then I'll say, what did you quit on the 13th hole?
That was only 9.
Yeah, actually today's his birthday, so I got a birthday gift for him here in 5 minutes.
All right.
We'll be in touch.
I'm gonna let you call him and talk to him before I call him and talk to him.
Would you do me that favor? If you wait a half an hour, you can give him a call.
All right, because I need to wish him a happy birthday as well.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
All right. Thank you very much, Alan.
You bet.
All right. Love you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.